16 years ago this week, on June 18, 2005, the Summer of Punk kicked off at Ring of Honor's Death Before Dishonor 3 show, where Punk, in what was to have been his final match in Ring of Honor before signing with WWE, ended up beating Austin Aries to win the Ring of Honor World title. And he cut a promo after the match. This is just a portion of it, it's not the entire thing. This belt in the hands of any other man is just a belt, but in my hands it becomes power. Just like this microphone in the hands of any of the boys in the back is just a microphone, but in the hands of a dangerous man like myself it becomes a pipe bomb. These words I speak, spoken by anybody else, are just words strung loosely together to form sentences. What I say, I mean, and what I mean, I say, and they become anthems. You see, if I could be afforded the time here for a little bit of a story, there was once an old man walking home from work. He was walking in the snow and he stumbled upon a snake frozen in the ice. He took that snake and he brought it home and he took care of it. He thawed it out and he nursed it back to health. And as soon as that snake was well enough, it bit the old man. And as the old man lay there dying, he asked the snake, "Why? I took care of you. I loved you. I saved your life." And that snake looked that man right in the eye and said, "You stupid old man. I'm a snake." The greatest thing the devil ever did was make you people believe he didn't exist. And you're looking at him right now. I am the devil himself. And all of you stupid, mindless people fell for it. You followed me hook, line, and sinker. All of you did. And I'm not mad at you. I just feel sorry for you. This belongs to me. Everything you see here belongs to me, and I did what I had to do to get my hands on this. Now I am the greatest pro wrestler walking the earth today. This is my stage, this is my theater, you are my puppets. Ladies and gentlemen, the champ is here. You don't have to love it, but you better learn to accept it, because I'm taking this with me, and there's not a single person in that locker room that can stop me. Punk would not even hold that title a full 2 months before dropping it to Jamie Noble. But in that time, he signed his WWE contract on the ROH title belt. This, before any pipe bombs he dropped in WWE, was the first Summer of Punk. 15 years ago this week, on June 17th, 2006, I attended my very first Ring of Honor live event called In Your Face, their final show from the ballroom at the New Yorker Hotel. After this, they would upgrade to the Grand Ballroom inside the Manhattan Center, which is literally around the corner from the hotel. I can't believe it's been 15 years. Holy shit. I remember the hotel staff being very upset when fans threw rolls of toilet paper at Jimmy Rave. That was the whole, gimmick at the time. People would throw rolls of toilet paper at him. He would throw it back. But some of them, I guess, hit the chandelier above the ring. I remember some of the pieces, I don't know if the pieces got knocked off or if they broke off. I think they broke off. So now you've got pieces of chandelier being struck by these rolls of toilet paper being knocked down to the ring. So I know they weren't very happy about that. I remember one of the craziest live spots that I had ever seen where BJ Whitmer powerbombed Jimmy Jacobs from the top rope, not into the ring, but into the crowd, onto a bunch of planted fans. But from where I was sitting, I was third row ringside on the opposite side. I didn't see the group of people that had gathered over there to catch them. And it just looked like he powerbombed him to the floor. Adam Pearce beat Claudio Castagnoli by disqualification when Chris Hero hit Pearce with the CZW title belt. Homicide then beat Chris Hero. And in the main event, a non-title three-way match where Bryan Danielson, Kenta, and Samoa Joe went to battle. This is the match where Danielson did a dive into the crowd onto Joe and almost killed me because I had my face buried in my disposable camera. I was trying to shoot it instead of moving out of the fucking way like a normal person. Kenta hit the go-to-sleep on Bryan for the win in what I remember being a fantastic match. I mean, with those three, how could it not be? 12 years ago this week, on the June 15th, 2009 episode of Monday Night Raw, Randy Orton won a fatal four-way match against John Cena, Triple H, and The Big Show to win the vacant WWE Championship, vacated by Batista after a bicep tear. And Vince McMahon was to announce the name of the new general manager of Raw, but instead made another major announcement that he had accepted an offer he simply could not refuse to sell Monday Night Raw. We should all be so lucky to get an announcement like that today. And to whom did he sell Raw? Why, he sold it to his old frenemy, Donald Trump, who appeared in a pre-taped video that was so obviously pre-taped. Whenever McMahon tried to interact with him and act like it was live, it was all out of sync, and Trump just kind of just stampeded over him, and it just came off horribly. The live crowd booed the shit out of the Trump stuff from the moment his name was mentioned because they were in Charlotte. They were in Charlotte, North Carolina. They were in Flair country. You could hear chants of "We want Flair" as Vince was teasing who the new owner was. And they had brought Flair to the show to make sure he was spotted in town to throw people off and get them thinking that it was him, but in reality it wasn't. Well, that was pretty fucking dumb. It backfired on them, and people wanted to see Flair. So when they saw Trump, they booed. Trump said that he would be there live the following week. He was making that episode of Raw commercial-free for the first time ever, which paid off because Raw the following week shot up to nearly 7 million viewers, with 5.8 million for Hour 1 and a whopping 7.8 million for Hour 2, a number that they had not seen since the glory days of the Attitude Era. But the storyline was quickly aborted, in part because USA Network issued a press release after the show touting Trump as the new owner of Raw as if it were real. And a bunch of finance websites and news outlets mentioned the news as if Trump actually owned Raw, which of course is not a company, it's a fucking television show, and not even a very good one. Investors didn't like that very much. The WWE stock dropped about 7% that week. So the following Monday, with Trump promising more commercial-free episodes and promising to pay back the money to fans that they paid for their tickets, $245,000 at the gate, according to the Donald. This was the June 22nd episode now. All of that money would be paid back to the fans. Vince McMahon saw what Trump was trying to do. He was trying to bankrupt him. So, let me recap this for a moment. Donald Trump buys Raw, which is a television show, from Vince McMahon, and he declares himself the sole owner of that show for an undisclosed sum of money. They never told us what the dollar amount was. I doubt it was the $1 billion that Fox paid for SmackDown years later. So he buys this show and he calls himself the sole owner only to intentionally sabotage the show that he just paid for. If the man is the sole owner of Raw, then what was Vince McMahon so concerned about? If Trump wants to sabotage his own show, let him. This was a very poorly thought out story. Very on brand for Monday Night Raw. Vince McMahon in storyline ended up paying double what Trump paid him just to take back control of the show. And just like that, the Trump era of Raw ended as quickly as it began. 9 years ago this week, June 20th, 2012, marked the television debut of the new NXT, the modern version, airing for the first time from Full Sail University. Jim Ross and William Regal handled the announcing while Dusty Rhodes served as the general manager. And check these matches out. Bo Dallas defeated Rick Victor. This was before he joined the Ascension. The Ascension did wrestle on this show. This was the original team of Conor O'Brien and Kenneth Cameron, before Cameron was released in November of that year and replaced by Victor. This was after Cameron was arrested. And today he's in the NWA as Tom Latimer. But on this show, the Ascension defeated the team of C.J. Parker, good old Juice Robinson, and Mike Dalton. years before he would eventually find success as Tyler Breeze. And in the main event, Tyson Kidd defeated Michael McGillicuddy. You can check out my thoughts on that first show on Sound Off episode 224. I don't remember what I said about that first episode of NXT, but I enjoyed those early days of NXT, especially into 2014, 2015. It just had a different vibe than it does today. It's not the same. And 5 years ago this week, on June 19th, 2016, we got the first meeting between John Cena and AJ Styles in the ring, and it was excellent. Styles picked up the win when Gallows and Anderson ran in after a ref bump and hit the Magic Killer on Cena, then pulled AJ on top for the win. Every time these two were in the ring together, here at SummerSlam, again at the Royal Rumble that they did at the Alamo Dome, it always had a big fight feel to it, and those two guys brought it. Dean Ambrose won the Money in the Bank ladder match, and Seth Rollins pinned Roman Reigns clean to win the WWE World Heavyweight Championship, only for Ambrose to cash in his Money in the Bank, much the same way Rollins did the previous year at WrestleMania. Ambrose hit Dirty Deeds and pinned Rollins to win the title. So in a matter of minutes, the WWE title went from Roman Reigns to Seth Rollins to Dean Ambrose. All three members of the Shield held the title in the same night. I don't know that that has ever happened before or since with another faction. 2 days later, we learned why Roman Reigns dropped the title and did so cleanly. WWE acknowledged the tribal chief by announcing that he had been suspended for his first violation of the company's talent wellness policy. That was a very big story at that time. People wondering what that would mean for the future of Roman Reigns. Is this going to derail his career? Look at where he is today. Look at what one heel turn did for this guy's career. How it just turned it all around. It's amazing. It's going to make him a bigger babyface when the time comes, but hopefully that won't be for a very long time yet. And that is this week in wrestling history.